This right here is my Windows 10 machine that I'm cold booting, but it takes over 2 minutes just to get to the desktop. Now I want you to watch this. This is the same machine, the same build, the same Windows 10 install, but after one simple change, it takes me under half a minute to get me to the desktop. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not saying my PC is dying. All I'm saying is, it's practically being sabotaged. In the next few minutes, I'm going to be breaking down what this feature is, how it works against you, and how you can shut it down permanently. I'll throw in 2 more culprits that could as well be dragging your boot time. This is Tech with Venom. Let's get started. Microsoft calls it fast startup. It sounds helpful, right? Well, it's not. Fast startup, what it actually does is it hibernates part of your system instead of shutting it down, which means you're starting each day with yesterday's junk, stale system files, half-shut processes, and name it all loading up the moment you press that power button. You'll be thinking you're booting fresh, okay? That's what everybody thinks, but you're actually not. What you're doing is you're booting root. This thing right here, this fast startup, is supposed to make booting faster. That's the whole point. That's the main reason why fast startup exists in the first place. But for most systems, especially the older ones or the cluttered ones, it does exactly the opposite. Now stack this on top of the unnecessary startup programs that launch with Windows every time you boot the system, and everything will just slow down. Before we resolve all this, you need to know something. You need to know that most of the apps that you install on your PC, they sneak their way onto the startup programs list. All the apps on this list launch with Windows every time you boot your PC. I don't know why, I don't know exactly why it was made that way. It just kinda doesn't make sense to me, cause this turns your boot into a drag. Funny how you don't even ask for any of this. Anyway, I've talked so much about the startup apps and startup programs in some of my previous videos. I've talked really much about them. So this time around is going to be quite different. I'm going to give you one quick rule that you need to consider. If you don't need any of the apps in the first 10 minutes of you turning on your PC, then that app just doesn't belong in startup. Disable it. I'll be showing you how you do that. Now let's first forget the fast startup, let's forget the startup apps. Here's the heavyweight problem, the registry itself. This thing right here is your PC's brain, and after years of use, it simply becomes a hoarder. You're going to find old software, leftover settings, broken parts, it's all still inside there. Imagine it like a drawer filled with all the new files, and on every boot, Windows has to go through all those files, the old and new, just to find what's relevant for you and leave out what's not. You definitely have to consider cleaning this one. You really need to. Now the good news here is, you don't need to be a developer just to clean this up. You can make use of third-party software like CCleaner. It's safe, it's free, and it's lightweight. The number one rule with this though is you need to make sure you make a backup of the registry before you make any changes to it. Now let's fix all the three with just one sweep. First, we'll turn off the fast startup. Open your control panel by hitting the start menu, type control panel, hit enter. Now click power options. Right here in the left sidebar, click choose what power buttons do. Now by default, the option for the fast startup is grayed out. They definitely don't want you to mess up with this. So to make it available, you want to click change settings that are currently unavailable right here. Now uncheck turn on fast startup and click save changes. Second, let's clean up the startup programs. Hit Ctrl Shift Escape. That brings up the task manager. Now navigate to the startup tab. This right here is the list of all apps and programs that launch with Windows every time you boot your computer. Now look through, identify all the apps that you don't use instantly after the boot. Simply right click them and choose disable. Now let's clean the registry. First, you're going to need to download the CCleaner setup from the official site, run it to install the CCleaner app. After you've installed it successfully, run the CCleaner app. Now under tools, there's this option for the registry. Click it, scan for issues, click review selected issues. When it prompts you to backup, allow it. This is backing up your registry. Choose where you want to save your backup. After that's done, hit fix all issues. Then let it clean. Now let me be clear about something. After all this, you're not going to get exactly the same results as mine. They'll be either slightly higher or slightly lower. But depending on your system, you'll get a 50 to 80% improvement. But if it's still lagging, nothing to worry about. My next video is going to be covering the bad habits that you need to change right now because they're silently killing your PC. You won't believe how often you repeat these habits every single day. So stay sharp. This is Tech with Venom. See you in the next one.